today's daily message, I want to share with you a little bit about what God has been doing and speaking to me in my life. So I'm going to read you some verses from 1 Kings chapter 19 verses 11 to 13, which says, "Then he said, 'Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord.' And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great and strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice." So it was, when Elijah heard it, that he wrapped his face in his mantle and went out and stood in the entrance to the cave. And suddenly a voice came to him and said, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" In the last few weeks, it has felt like a lot of things have changed, and we've had one thing hitting us after another, changing the way we work, changing the way we do church, and changing the way we do personal relationships and community. It's felt a little bit like we've been trying to listen for God in the strong wind of coronavirus and the earthquake of illness and the fire of change and massive changes. But it's been in the still, small voice that God has really been speaking to me. It can be hard to hear sometimes amongst the earthquake and the fire and the illnesses and everything that's going on, but I want to encourage you to listen for the still small voice. For me, I had a crazy few days in March which completely changed my life, really. You know, Flybe went into administration 2 days before I was meant to fly with them up to Shetland to see Rob, and then coronavirus hit and stopped our Forefront tours straight in the middle of what had been some of our best tours yet. We were only halfway through. My mum got diagnosed with cancer completely out of nowhere, which was obviously had a massive impact, and Rob was stuck in Shetland then, and I'd not seen him for over a month. But it was in the middle of those few days that God was whispering and speaking to me in my heart about virtual Sunday school, and it's out of those few days that virtual Sunday school was born. Virtual Sunday School now has had over 50,000 views on YouTube. We've had churches using it all over the world as their Sunday school on a Sunday, which is incredible. We've had families using it, missionary families getting in touch with us, families who can't send their kids to church on a Sunday for whatever reason, and so many people asking us to continue doing this even after lockdown finishes. And it's just really cool. It's really humbling that God would use us like this, and that even in the midst of all this craziness that is going on, he is still speaking to us in the still small voice. So I want to encourage you today to listen for that still small voice, to try not to be overwhelmed by everything that you might feel like is hitting you left, right and centre, and just focus on the still small voice.